Good morning. It is always an immense pleasure to sit for the story discussion of our own successful candidates, which we fortunately had the opportunity to mentor during their preparation. The benefit of them offering the look into the hindsight is extremely useful for the present aspirants in clearing or dehazing the view of their foresight in the preparation. Towards this series, today, I am very happy to welcome one of our very successful candidate, Ms. Ayushi Bansal, who is All India rank 7 this year in the Civil Services examination. And she, prior to this, in her earlier attempt as well, has qualified for this examination back in 2022 and 23 and has been undergoing training for the IPS. Uh, we extend hearty welcome to you, Ms. Ayushi,
Thank you, sir.
and many congratulations for the great success that you have brought. She has been a student of Vajiraman Ravi for the GS Prelims Comes Mains program, and here she sits with us to offer the benefits of the hindsight and the wisdom that she has distilled through her preparation. So, Ayushi will start from very, crisp note. Like, could you quickly just summarize for the listeners what has the journey of UPSC preparation been for you all through?
Sir, I decided to prepare for civil services examination in 2021.
All right.
I was working in private sector before this. So I resigned from my job and I started preparing. So I gave my first attempt in CSE 2022 and I was very fortunate. I got rank 188 and was allotted Indian Police Service. After that, I gave my second attempt in 2023 where I got 97th rank and this year I got 7th rank.
Yeah.
So overall, this journey has been of 3 attempts for me.
Yes.
And sir, I decided after resigning from my job only that I'll prepare.
Okay. So, does that mean that prior to this also you had already made a major achievement and you're already, taking the electrical engineering course at IIT Kanpur? So, was it during your academics, it was all academics and you were only thinking about, taking that into the logical conclusion?
No, sir, actually, it wasn't like that for me. So regarding civil services, I had some idea during my childhood, but it was a very faint sort of an idea. It was not very solidified.
Right.
So then I graduated. I did my graduation in IIT Kanpur, and it was not all academics for me. I was very active in theater in my college time. So and I was very active in student gymkhana also.
Right.
So I was. I consider myself very fortunate that during those 4 years, I got to understand what different problems people face and how can we better solve them. So I started gaining more interest that this is something I want to do in life also.
Mhm.
I want to work with the public and in the field to do something for them. And civil services seemed like a very good option.
Certainly.
But before that, I wanted to be very, very sure that this is something I really want to do. So I decided to first start working for some time in private sector, and then maybe I'll decide. So after working there, it became even more conclusive after some time for me that civil services is the way to go. Because I had a very, very good job. I was very happy there. Everything was
Exactly.
going well.
Exactly. Yes.
But then I thought that I want to work in the field with the public on the ground level. And civil services was a very good option in that direction. So I decided.
Because this is one thing that I think would cater to the need of many of those people who are already in the job and are in the dilemma of what to do with leaving the job and how safe would that option be. So when you took the plunge, I think it must have been a very difficult decision for you as well, because leaving McKinsey, which is already a dream job for many, it must have been a plum job for you, and then to take a plunge into it. Did you, for once, also think of any plan B in case this does not work out for you?
So on the first aspect, yes, it was a very difficult decision to make. But I would really like to thank my mother for this.
Mhm.
I had a very stable career. I had a full trajectory in front of me. But I knew my dream was to get into the civil services. And my mother saw this. And she was a very constant source of motivation. She told me that I am telling you, you will clear it. You should definitely go for your dream. And I am with you throughout. So that support really helped me to make that decision. And regarding plan B, sir, I did not think of a plan B at that point of time because I had before going into the examination process,
Mm.
I did not want to start with plan B, but I was very sure that this is something I want to do. But yes, I had certain background. I had graduation from IIT, and I had some work experience also. So if not this, I would have gone back maybe to the
So you were
private sector.
confident that you will land somewhere comfortably
Yes.
for sure. All right. Let us now switch to the preparation to the core, right? So, as it is quite evident that you have been an achiever all throughout, and I believe you possibly had cracked the code of cracking the exams very early, because once in IIT and then all the attempts that you have taken for the UPSC also, you had something to actually be very proud of. So, could you just spell out for the listeners as to what were those basic strategies that always helped you crack it every single time that you attempted?
Sir, I would say there are 3-4 things.
Mm-hmm.
One is the mindset
Mm-hmm.
with which we go into any exam. I believe that any person from any background can clear the exam, and this is very evident in the results also. So I told myself that if anyone can do it, I definitely can. And again, sir, my mother really supported me on this. So going in the exam with this faith in yourself really helps, because throughout the preparation, it's a very long journey. There are certain moments when you feel like whether I will be able to do it. And then when you have that faith in yourself, you actually do it. That was one thing. Another thing related to mindset was I always told myself that even though everyone makes it out as a very big exam, it is something very big, but you have to tell yourself that it is just another exam. And the way we have done different exams in schools and colleges, this is also just another exam. You have to read certain things, you have to revise them, you have to write in a certain manner, and that's it. It's not rocket science per se. So simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. So I tried keeping it as simple as possible. That was another thing. Third thing was, sir, optimization, time optimization. Because in my first attempt, I had only 10 months. So I made sure that I do not run behind multiple sources. I do not change my source every time there is a new question. I made my strategy. I took some resources and I read and revised them multiple times. I only changed my strategy a bit when I was not able to solve the previous year questions. That was me another thing. And one important thing related to simplicity only, sir, I would say is UPSC has already given us the syllabus and previous year questions, and they should form the backbone of our preparation. If we read and revise syllabus and PYQs multiple times, we automatically start understanding what is the pattern of the exam, what is actually the demand of the exam. So that is something that helped me, sir.
Acha, एक और चीज़ है, like when people are in, in the foundation course, many of them are blank state, and they never realize that what kind of bombardment of the content it would actually entail to be in the preparation. They get suffocated. They're getting so much of content. They're not able to, revise the stuff properly. They're not able to do the value addition by the time the next content comes. How was your experience of going through the course and then, making concrete structure out of it?
So not just the course wise, but anyone who starts preparation, they feel this way. When I started preparation, I also felt the same thing, that there is a vast syllabus and there are so many things to be done. But then overall, we have to realize that this is not a sprint, but a marathon of 1 year.
True.
And if we try to do everything in 1 day or 1 month, it is not possible. We have to have good macro targets that in 6 months I will do this. Then we should have certain medium level targets. Within a month, I should finish this. And then micro targets that within a week, I should be able to do this.
Right.
And if we are able to plan it out that way, even though the syllabus is vast, and that is, I think, the possibly only difficult thing about UPSC, it
Yes.
is vast. Although it is very easily understandable, but it is huge. So we have to break down the syllabus into parts and keep our timeline in months. We cannot do it in days. That is something we have to realize. And another thing is about mindset only, sir, that consciously take it as a marathon, that I have certain amount of time and I have to do it day by day.
Mhm.
Your routine is the key.
Hmm.
It should sound extremely boring. It should become extremely boring to you because you are day in and day out repeating the same thing. So routine and boredom is the key
True.
to finally succeed in this marathon, I would
Correct.
say.
And Ayushi, as we can all see, there were significant improvement each time you took this exam. I would not, let it go as just fluke or something cosmic. I believe there must have been some plan into it which allowed you to keep reaping bigger benefits each time. Could you just try, figuring it out for us? What extra thing or what different did you do in each attempt so that you got incremental rewards?
Sir, for me, self evaluation is the best evaluation. So, after my first attempt, I did not rely on anyone else's evaluation. I evaluated, sat down, and evaluated myself. So, I made an Excel sheet of what are my marks in this subject,
Mhm.
and I went through many mark sheets and saw what were the possibly highest marks in that particular paper for that year.
Right.
And I wrote those marks and I wrote the gap which I had. And then I went through that topper's copies and I tried to analyze that copy
Mm.
as to, according to me, what exactly are they doing better in that paper to have such a gap with me. And I concretely wrote down those points for each paper. Ki they have these good things in their answer sheets. And in those 3 months between prelims and mains, for each attempt, for each paper, I tried to implement those things. And that really helped me improve my score in the papers, sir.
Now, while it seems to be quite logical and at the moment, it must have been really ingenious of you to have thought of and then meticulously work on that. Which could also bring us to the importance of peer learning, isn't it? Like, did you also have companionships in your preparation and few people who were working together and then helping each other out in that?
Yes, definitely, sir. I had certain friends who, whenever I was lost, I did not know where to proceed from here. They were very kind enough to tell me that you can proceed in this direction. But overall, sir, I preferred studying on my own and self evaluation a lot more. So both of the things worked simultaneously for me,
Right,
sir.
right. Could you tell us the different strategies you had for each papers? GS paper 1, 2, 3, and the others. Although we'll keep the GS paper 4 for a separate discussion,
Hmm.
but the others, could you?
Okay. So, sir, the common strategy across all the three papers was the syllabus and PYQ. Because especially in GS2 and GS3, they're asking, and even in GS1 also, they're asking directly from the syllabus. Rarely, I don't remember if they go beyond the syllabus per se. So, syllabus and PYQs were the most important things in all the GS papers. Second thing was to have finish each and every line of the syllabus. So, for certain lines of the syllabus, you have your books. For others, there are no ready-made notes available. So, I used to search online and prepare my own notes. And so I should have some content for each of the syllabus line. That was my second approach, second thing which I did in GS. Third and most important thing was the answer writing aspect. So answer writing, I did it in certain steps. First, answer writing, when I started, I used to use toppers copies. I would just see a question, write my own answer, and then match with their answer. What are they doing better?
Yes.
So that is one thing which helped. Then I solved the PYQs also. And finally, sir, I understood something about answer writing which I tried to implement. For example, uh, demand of the question. I always made sure that I do not digress from the what is being asked
Yeah.
in the question.
Yes.
I answer all the parts of the question. I answer it in a very structured manner so that it is easier for examiner to find what I have answered.
Yes. Yes.
And then, sir, finally, I did some value addition in my GS papers. A newspaper has always been my solid strength. So, whenever I read newspaper, if there is something very relevant to PYQs or syllabus, I used to note it down and utilize that in my answers, sir.
True. Correct. Very nice, very nice. Like I keep telling the students as well when I get the chance to mentor. Like if someone asks what are the list of important topics, as a syllabus is the list of important topics. You must memorize it and know it as the back of your palm. The simple science is that it creates those hooks in your mind, the syllabus, so that every time you're reading some stuff, automatically it gets pegged onto those hooks and stays in your mind. Because many times students make the mistake of not memorizing the syllabus. I think this is one thing that you meticulously and
Yes.
in a disciplined manner also did. All right. I think you also answered the question on answer writing. I mean, by what time did you actually start the answer writing practice, and how did you increase the number of answers or questions that you attempted?
Sir, in the first attempt, I had only 10 months. So, before prelims, I could not do much of answer writing. I wrote
Mm.
few answers here and there. But after prelims, I did it very meticulously. I made sure I'm writing at least 3-4 hours every day, either a test paper or some answers or PYQs or something. I have to write a lot.
Mm.
That is what I told myself in these 3 months. And answer writing, I followed the same steps, sir, using toppers copies, using PYQs, and then finally attempting the tests in 3 hours. How do I attempt those 20 questions within that limited time frame? And sir, definitely it took some time. It took, I would say, a lot of time to finally reach to a level of a good answer. Answer writing is basically a skill, and to master any skill, it takes some time to and practice. So
But-
that is what it took.
Yes, exactly. This is where many chicken out actually. So they don't have the patience to keep writing and writing and correct. Okay. There is one thing which is very dicey. And despite the best of the preparation for mains, some of the deserving people, don't get a chance to write it. That's the prelims. With very less number of questions, 100 questions merely with lakhs and lakhs of the possible size of the pool of questions, it becomes very unpredictable. Did you have any trick to win over this?
Sir, again, no tricks per se, just simplicity is the key. I focused on certain things. One was the static portion. So, whenever we see prelims, we get so bogged down by so many current questions that we ignore static. And those are some very low hanging fruits. So, do not ignore static, is what I'll say. I read and revised my static books multiple times so that if these questions are there, there should be 100% accuracy. Second thing was practice. So, I practiced a lot of PYQs. And by analyzing and reading PYQs and matching with official answer keys given by UPSC,
UPSC, right.
I used to understand and even seeing the wrong options. What kind of questions are being asked? What are the important areas? Are there certain options which are wrong, certain which are right? Some analysis which we do on our own. So if we do PYQs multiple times, we will be able to do that. Another thing is practice some tests also, sir, before the prelims, so that I understand what are the right number of questions for me, and how many rounds and how many rounds I should attempt the paper. And if there are certain questions which I cannot answer based on my knowledge, how do I answer those kind of questions? So all of this came with a lot of practice
Yeah.
in the tests. And finally, I would say the most important thing is temperament in the exam. What happens is every year there's a surprise in the prelims, and if you're a sincere student, you will see that paper and you feel like you're not able to answer the questions, and then you panic. And in that panic mode, we even the questions which we know, we do them incorrectly.
True that. And
So-
then we are like silly mistake ho gaya and
Yeah,
all that.
yeah. So temperament is very important. Just remain calm and composed in the exam.
I keep telling my students that there's only one way of avoiding getting surprised by UPSC, and that is expect a surprise. So that kind of robs the surprise element and keeps you a little calm-headed. Good, good, good. Ayushi, you were also in the training. This is one question I believe that will hit with many of the people who are already in the service. How difficult has it been for you to prepare while being in the training or in the service? And how did you strategize, being in the two boats?
Okay. Sir, in the training aspect, when I gave my mains 2024 exam, I was actually on EOL.
Okay.
So we were given a leave. So I prepared during my leave. So that was not an issue for me. I gave my interview while I was undergoing training. Regarding the interview, sir, since I had already given 2 interviews, I was already thorough with my DAF. So there was not a lot of preparation required there. And newspaper was something you can manage some 1 hour a day. So I used to read newspaper that way. So for interview, it was not a lot of preparation
Major
that was
challenge.
needed. So I managed.
And maybe the peers over there would have been also in the similar position, answering interview maybe,
Yes, sir.
and maybe some companionship that could have helped.
Sir, we used to discuss if needed at
Mm.
times during the weekends.
Mhm.
But training is a with training. I just focused on newspaper and somehow managing whatever I could.
Right, right. Coming to the optional,
Yes.
as we all know that yours was sociology, right? Could you summarize a few of the major aspects like how did you choose your optional? What strategy did you have? And how much of the expert help that you require and the answer writing and stuff that you had to go through?
So on the first aspect of choosing an optional, the foremost factor for me was the interest part.
Mhm.
I was very interested in sociology. I did 1 or 2 courses during my graduation
Oh.
time also.
All right.
So I found that this is very interesting for me. Second, sir, I had very less time in my first attempt. So I was interested in maths also, but the
Mm.
time was very less.
Maths is a vast
Yeah, it would have taken more time.
more time.
So I decided to go with sociology. That is how I chose
Mm.
that optional. And regarding my strategy, sir, I have given 3 attempts with that optional and I gained few insights. One thing again was that there is a certain notion with the people that you need a lot of thinkers, you need a lot of case studies, examples, current examples, value addition. Only then you can get a good score. But it's actually not like that. If we see the paper, it's more about answering the demand of the question. We get so bogged down by our knowledge in optional that we forget what is being asked. So this is something I was very conscious in this attempt, that no matter how much knowledge I have, I will answer what is being asked. And even if it relates to my knowledge, I will definitely use it. I will use some thinkers if I have them. But my answer should not be what I know, but what is being asked. That is something we actually remember in GS but forget in optional because we have too much of knowledge there. So that is one strategy I used there to increase my score. Another thing in important and optional, sir, is a good explanation. In GS, maybe we write a point in
Mm.
2 lines, but in optional, I don't think it can work.
Yes.
If there is a question that is being asked, its analysis is very, very important.
Correct.
We have to very clearly explain what we are answering in very proper language. And even if we are writing an example, we cannot just write one line of example. We have to write a proper example relating it to the demand of the question.
True that.
And explain it and analyze it very well. So that is something that helped in optional, sir, and regarding its answer writing. Apart from that, sir, in sociology, people run behind current affairs, but what I realized that it's not, if you are doing current affairs sufficiently in GS, there is no need of any separate current affairs for sociology.
Correct.
Because it comes mostly from static area, and wherever there is current, you can utilize your GS knowledge there. So these are the things, sir.
In a way, like we keep talking about the optional being the feeder for GS, right? You have also utilized the GS being feeder for your optional as well, in a way making your journey for optional preparation much easier. Perfect, perfect. Now, coming to the essay preparation, right? So many people, I think don't give enough of the attention to the essay paper, taking it towards the very last. How has your strategy been for the essay, for this course that you've earned?
Sir, regarding essay, I did it after prelims. And how I followed it was I started with toppers copies and wherever whoever scored very good in essay and tried to make a document of my own, marking some points like what do I really like in their essay. Somewhere the flow was very good, somewhere the interpretations were very good, somewhere the expansion was very good. So I wrote all the good things which I found in their essays. And finally, when I wrote an essay, I tried to implement those things. Second thing, sir, which I very consciously followed was the correct interpretation of the topic. In the exam, if there is some line, if we interpret it wrongly and write an essay, then that becomes a
True
blunder,
that.
sort of.
Absolutely.
So, interpretation was a must, correct interpretation. So, I focused on that while choosing the essay. And the third thing was the flow of the essay, sir. I used to read my essay after 2-3 days and just see if there are sudden jumps in between. I'm suddenly changing the topic or suddenly going from one point to another point. So that is where the flow breaks. So I tried ki how can I keep my flow better in that
So
sense.
that self-evaluation is quite
Self-evaluation.
important. And particularly if you have given the spacing of time, your bent of mind and the thought thinking process also changes. So maybe it gives you a more neutral view at your own, text. Correct. So did you keep writing essays all throughout your preparation, or did you practice essay writing at a particular phase of your preparation only?
Sir, in my first attempt, I wrote it between prelims and mains only.
Mhm.
And I used to write maybe weekly an essay or 2 essays because we already have 6 other papers, total 7 papers. So, 6 other papers I used to dedicatedly study. And in between, I used to keep my essay preparation. So, it used to go throughout for the 3 months.
All right. Otherwise, your writing skills, throughout your academic career have been
Yes, sir, they have been.
decent enough.
Decent.
All right. All right. ठीक है. Coming to the GS paper 4, one of the most fluid of the entire fluid part of the entire syllabus, I would feel. Many score very good, and many, so there is a huge difference between the score of the people. What strategy did you choose for your ethics paper preparation? How did you ration between reading, creating the content, and practicing? And what kind of inputs external did you take to excel in that?
Sir, ethics is a very good scoring subject, a very low
Yes,
hanging
indeed.
fruit, I
Yes.
would say. How did I prepare for it, sir? I think only the 10% of the preparation is making your notes because the syllabus is very small. It's not huge. So utilizing different sources, online sources, and so on, I made my own notes for each of the syllabus line, and that is only the first step. I wrote some examples for each syllabus point, and that is it. Uh, the 90% of the ethics part is actually practice.
Practice.
Yes. Answer writing for ethics is even more important than any other paper because sometimes what happens is there is a question and we are not able to understand how is it even linked to the syllabus. But when we practice more and more and more, we realize, okay, so this is coming from this part of the syllabus and this is how I should structure it, this is how I should answer it.
Correct.
The ability to generate points become more and more as we practice a lot. So that is something I followed. I practiced a lot in ethics. In fact, ethics was something I did every day in 3 months,
Alright.
prelims and mains. I wrote 2 case studies every day and 2 answers every day for ethics. So that was one thing. Another thing, sir, which I followed was to have diversify my examples. Now what happens is when we read what students they do memorize examples of civil servants or some personalities and that is it. But I thought that ethics is actually everywhere. Ethics is in IR, ethics is in history, ethics is in constitution, ethics is everywhere. It's just our way of utilizing it. And when that happened, I did not need to remember a lot of examples, and whenever there is a quality and I need to write an example, I could easily connect it with my other GS papers. And this differentiated my answers also. And for case studies, sir, again, I relied on self-evaluation a lot. I used to write 2 case studies. I took some toppers case study, wrote it on my own, and then matched with their case study. So for by the end of these 3 months, I realized that I have written many case studies, and I have gone through almost every type of case study,
Right.
and I gained some insights on my own that if there is a particular type of case study, there are certain qualities which should be displayed in that case study. So I made a document on my own and wrote those qualities that if there is certain case study like this, I will answer it like this, and so on. And yeah, I used that document before the exam. I revised it. So this is how I.
So you already had the templates available, and those templates could always help you for the different questions.
I made those templates on my own, so based on toppers copies. So throughout preparation, I used toppers copies a lot, and based on some toppers copies, I utilized those templates.
So the distillate of your answer is that devote more time in answer writing practice and improving upon that, creating the template. The content building part, which has to be initially, is the minor fraction.
Minor fraction, yes, sir. I actually students do the opposite, but that should not be done. Content building is okay. You give certain time. You have your own notes and syllabus wise. But more important part is practice.
All right. Okay. One biggest challenge of the UPSC preparation, like you started answering that it is just another exam, which is quite an agreeable aspect. But one thing that I believe sets apart the civil services examination from the other is to remain in that high focus zone for a long stretch of time. And as you very rightly mentioned, the humongous content that you have to master at. At times, people, despite the deservingness that they feel they have, don't get the desired success, and the failure comes, and that is where the stress management becomes an important element of the preparation. uh, have you had your phases wherein you felt it is getting a little too much to handle, and if at all, how did you come out of it and maintain that inertia of preparation?
Yes, sir, definitely. I think it happens with everyone. There is stress, there is uncertainty, and you do not sometimes know what is the right path and where to go.
True.
So certain factors helped me, sir. The first and foremost was my mother.
Hmm.
I made a very conscious decision to stay at home and prepare via online mediums. So my mother was there with me, and she was always constant emotional support. She used to make these blanket statements that I am sure you're getting a top 10 rank. Take it in writing from me. So
That must have been a good pep talk.
she is very good at this though. Even when someone says this with so much confidence, it gives you a lot of faith. So that really helped me throughout in preparation. Another thing, sir, was discipline. There are certain days when you don't feel like studying, when you're exhausted. So I made sure that I study every day. There were days when I could not give in that many hours. I studied only for 2 hours. But there was never a day when I did not pick a book. Even if it's for half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, I will pick up a book, I will read something and break that inertia of
True,
that day.
true.
So motivation is fragile at times, but discipline is permanent.
Perfect. That is the crux of it. Very nicely put. Coming to one last little thing. How did you prepare for your interview? Because this is one thing when it comes to imagining the exam before all other things. This is what that comes to the mind of the people, kind of putting the cart before the horse. Many people do that. How has your preparation for the interview been like? Did you always visualize sitting for the interview and kept that mental preparation through the entire preparation time, or was it left for we'll cross the bridge when we come to it?
Sir, in the first attempt, and I would advise this to all as well, that when you're starting your preparation, do not think about interview too much, because prelims and mains are very important, and you get sufficient amount of time after mains to prepare for your interview. As far as my strategy is concerned for interview, I don't think, sir, that it's only about preparation and preparation. It's all about your holistic personality.
True that.
So I prepared my DAF as far as preparation is concerned. I relied on two things, a DAF and newspaper. I used to read 2-3 newspapers before interview, not for prelims and mains, but only interview.
Yeah.
I used to read 2-3 newspapers and I used to cover my DAF. That was the preparation part per se. As far as the rest of the personality development aspect is considered, I read the qualities in the UPSC notification which are being tested for the interview. So there are some 7-8 qualities, I think, which are mentioned. And I used to see the transcript, and then I used to answer in my mind what is my answer. And then I used to check whether am I able to display any of those
Oh,
qualities at all
it is what-
in my answer.
Yes.
So I used to then think about it.
Hmm.
Another thing which I did was I used to, again, self-evaluation. I used to write for myself what an ideal servant, civil servant to me looks like. And there were certain qualities which I wrote down that I want to see these qualities in a good civil servant. And I tried to incorporate those qualities within me. Even then, even I don't know what will be my interview score, but even if I have those qualities, it will make me a better civil servant.
Better civil servant.
So I tried to incorporate those very deeply in my personality so that I do not have to just do it for 25 minutes in that interview time. It becomes a part of me. So when it becomes a part of you, automatically it gets reflected in your answers. So, for example, let's say you become a positive person. You start seeing more solutions rather than criticizing things. So that if that becomes a part of your personality, is whenever there is a question, suddenly your mind starts thinking solutions
Mhm.
instead of getting bogged down
Mhm.
by criticisms.
True.
So that gets reflected.
Perfect, perfect. So, and as it is called as personality test. You pronounce interview as interview. So, it is more like an interview of it, which
Mm.
I believe has to evolve all through. So, that is the best strategy if in case you list out the officer-like qualities and on a daily basis you keep a check on your behavior pattern, your overall demeanor. I think that would be the best preparation for it. All right, nicely put. Any extra recreational activities that you participated in? Or was it all studies and all? Everything.
So during preparation, I used to go on walks with my mother.
Mhm.
I used to listen to some music.
Mhm.
That's it. While I was in college, I was very active in theater.
Theater.
And now I have picked up swimming as well, but not during preparation. There
All
was
right. And theater, in the hindsight, you must give a bit of credit to it. Theater does a world of good to your overall personality
Yes, sir, definitely.
and the way you express the things, enact the things, your body language. No wonder you got a wonderful score in your interview as well. Good, Ayushi. It has been wonderful talking to you. I believe the listeners would at least be able to understand. Many a times we overcomplicate things. Yours is an example of how, restricting yourself to some simplistic template and being more disciplined about it would be the major key to success rather than trying to find out some elixir wherein, that will give you a so short, mantra. We from the entire team wish you very, very all the best for your future endeavors. And I just wish, just as we today read about you as the success stories in the newspapers, we'll also be reading about you for the great work that you do in your, bureaucracy. And that could possibly act as a template for someone who would be answering his her interview. Right?
Thank you, sir.
All the very best. God bless you. Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.